Transactional marriages.
Most of them, that's what it is. You hear about these marriages, they got married in a year, they're done. She took everything. Or
Is there a benefit to marriage for us, for your normal Americans, paycheck to paycheck people? I mean, is two incomes better than one? Is and then but see that's business too, right? Even on the lowest level with the brokest people that make $30,000 a year, it's a better business decision. Hey, we could get off better together with 60 than 30,000.
yeah, I would rather her be with a broke Christian man that has a heart after God's own heart than a rich man that's filled with money with the mansion over here who might send her straight to hell. Yeah.
Please comment down below. Would you rather your daughter be with the broke Christian
God
God,
fearing.
God. Okay, that's cool. That's all. That's cool. That we just want to like and subscribe. Okay, I mean that was
I'm not gonna
okay.
advocate for my child just to have the riches and stuff, and,
I
and
didn't
they
mean it
might lead
like
her to
that.
hell. You should be paid spouses support just because you want to keep a lifestyle without me that you had with me. Whether it can, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, whether it's a woman or man, I cannot say that you should be able to keep a lifestyle. Me and you had a lifestyle together, but now I'm leaving for whatever reasons there may be. You know what I'm saying? I should be able to
What
hold
if
this lifestyle. No, I can't. I'm not gonna
what if
speak on
what if
that.
you cheated on me, Janard?
I'm not speaking on you should hold a lifestyle that we had together
What if
still.
you went and cheated on me and you said better for worse and you broke our vows? And that's why they do spousal support, because they saying that you broke vows towards God. You broke the
If
vows.
God tell me to give somebody spousal support,
The
then I
court
will.
will.
I'm not talking about the
The
court.
court
I
will.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not speaking on things I don't know of. But to me, that I don't think that people. I don't know. I don't know about. I'm not speaking on spousal support.
All right.
And that you think it is fair, regardless of the reasons of who's right and wrong, that a court should order somebody to pay somebody money to keep up with a lifestyle that they had with the person, although they're no longer going to be with that person, regardless the reasons why they're separating or whatever.
No,
I think Offset's been spiteful,
I
and
do.
I don't think you should do things out of spite. I think he's been spiteful,
I do too, but I think it's smooth.
and it's greed. Offset is not hurting for no money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't think it's greed.
So
I
you
think
want
it's
more money?
no.
It's
It's
part of
most. I
greed.
think it's more spitefulness than greed.
It's probably definitely more spiteful, but it's definitely a greed spirit behind it.
No, I think it's hurt, spitefulness and hurtfulness. You know, all the beautiful bunnies in the world, all the best snow trip he can take ain't gonna fix this hurt. You know what I'm saying? This your wife, culture, mom. You see what I'm saying? So there's,
See, I can't have.
yeah,
Like I said, that's just
that's
foolish and
heavy.
stuff.
Yeah,
Because then he go sleep with a prostitute or something.
yeah, he wanted to bust down
So
a
you
little
weren't you
prostitute.
weren't you
But they
didn't feel
said but
bad.
they said unbeknownst to us at that time that Carter was texting back and forth with Diggs. They said it was
Was
taking
she?
her. They said it was taking her 2 and 3 days to make it to some spot. You know what I'm saying? Places instead when it was supposed to. You know what I'm saying? When she normally would have been there on time. Offset wait. You know what I'm saying? Texting, calling his wife. She ain't picking her up for a day or so. They said there was a lot of things going on.
I think they can say a
Yeah,
lot and it sounds like
yeah,
a bunch
yeah.
of foolishness and
They was just
nonsense. At the end of the day, there's no excuse to go sleep with prostitutes and then want me to feel bad because now you said that I'd have moved
no, I
on.
was not trying. I was not trying to say why did make a cop out for him sleeping with
It sounds like it.
the prostitute.
I'm saying, but
We want to talk about the importance of marriage, but I want to see its relevance moving forward and in the future, starting from 2025. Is marriage relevant anymore?
in these days times, it doesn't seem like they have. I think it should be. It should be relevant, but to make it relevant, we'll have to get it back important and showing to make it important to people. You have to show back its value and where it originated from, or why God want us to be married. But no, I don't think in this day time people are.
Yeah, it seemed like people today either afraid of marriage or just don't even believe in it. And like let's take the perspective of you being a mother. You got 3 sons. If God and when God blessed them with abundance, you would even advocate for a prenuptial agreement, correct? You see what I'm saying?
Well, it depends on who they're marrying, I
To
guess.
protect your boys,
I would
right?
want them to protect themselves.
You would want them to protect themselves.
I would.
Okay, all right. So now to the point that people make about, and we just trying to get the worldliness out of the way, off the top. And so to the people that's like, it's just paperwork. Is it just paperwork?
From the worldly perspective, yeah, that's how they're treating it.
Yeah. So, but we don't just, you know what I'm saying? We still are spiritual beings, and we still yearn for certain things, and relationship and commitment is a good thing. Things of that nature. What do you think is good about marriage moving forward?
From a biblical standpoint or a spiritual or Christianity standpoint, what do I think is good for it? If we can get back to the basic, what marriage is, which is man and woman covering, you know what I'm saying, a covenant with God. Your marriage should mimic Christ loving the church, which means there should be a lot of forgiveness, a lot of love, a lot of unity, a lot of growing. That's what I would like for it to look like. What it's looking like now is very secular looking. People, what can you do for me? Reason, business deals, business. They using the marriage certificate as a business commitment type of thing going on, and I would like to see it shift from that back to the original of what it's supposed to be.
Transactional marriages.
I mean, most of them, that's what it is. You hear about these marriages, they got married in a year, they're done. She took everything. Or, it's just, yeah, very, very transactional.
Yeah. Okay. So just to just the majority of people living paycheck to paycheck, normal Americans living paycheck to paycheck. Is there a benefit to marriage for us, for your normal Americans, paycheck to paycheck people? I mean, it is two incomes better than one. Is and then but see that's business too, right? Even on the lowest level with the brokest people that make $30,000 a year, it's a better business decision. Hey, we could get off better together with 60 than 30,000.
True. I mean, from depending on your perspective. I mean, yes, anytime you get two people together, building, growing, because it's not just the money part. You're helping each other be better people. You know what I'm saying? You're helping. You have a great hustle, which is starting to, like rub off from you. It's like iron sharpening iron type of stuff going on. You're supposed to be better. You're supposed to get there. So I can't say like, oh, that's business. No, that is what marriage is. Marriage is a covenant. It is growth. It is, those things. But but we didn't go into it with a contract mindset, with a contract perspective. We went with, okay, what did God say marriage is? And that's the difference. When you go in with the mindset without God, then you open the doors to these weird marriages that's going on and thinking, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it as weird marriages that's going on.
Okay, now to get some pushback on that, would you advocate for your daughter marrying for tradition's sake and his good chivalry and all that, but he broke and in debt? Went to school, got a degree in nothing. He in debt. He work at the local this place over here, whatever plant. He got one child. He broke in debt. And you advocate for your daughter marrying?
I sure would. I would rather for my daughter to marry the guy who is going to treat her like a princess, whether what's in his pocket, that's going to treat her like the queen she is, that loves God, that's going to pray with her. Because a person like that, who if they long as they got God in it, he can be built up. But if you get the rich man over here who don't know God and he got all this stuff, he going to treat you like a piece of property. He might mentally abuse you. No, I'm not looking at the pocket. I'm looking at the character of the person in their heart. So yeah, I'm okay if he knows, as long as he has a relationship and he a God fearing man. Because at the end of the day, you would not fail with God, and He would lift both of y'all up. So yeah, I would rather her be with a broke Christian man that has a heart after God's own heart than a rich man that's filled with money with the mansion over here who might send her straight to hell. Yeah.
Please comment down below. Would you rather your daughter be with the broke Christian
God fearing.
God? Okay, that's cool. That's all. That's cool. that would just want a like and subscribe. Okay, I mean that was
I'm not gonna
okay.
advocate for
Hey,
my child just to have the riches and stuff,
I
and
didn't
they
mean it
might lead
like
her to
that.
hell. I wouldn't.
I didn't mean it like that. It was just a simple question.
Yeah, but that's the problem with today's time. People are looking at the pocket. They are condemning themselves to hell. I don't want to get married. We can be over here. We're gonna be sister wives, and we're doing all this weird worldly stuff because hey, it gives me money, it gives me fame, it gives me this. It's a good life here on earth, which is gonna, you have to when you go sometimes the other way, when you're trying to do things the right way. There are gonna be challenges, and those challenges and those trials are there to build you. But a lot of times people don't want to go through that building or that growth. They want to get the easy route, and that's the problem with the new generation. They want the easy route, the popcorn success, when you have to be built up and you have to. And sometimes it's okay because if you're being built up the right way and if you're going through Christ, then you're gonna be all right at the end. You'll surpass that person over here in so many ways, not just monetary.
Okay, I'm gonna agree to disagree, and we're gonna keep it moving, cause I don't even got the energy. I don't even want to. I'm trying not to be so I don't want to get to yelling just yet. But that was wild, baby. But I mean that was a different perspective, and I like. I mean, you know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
that's how I feel. You
Yeah,
asked me
yeah,
how I
yeah,
feel about it. That's
yeah,
how I
yeah,
feel about it.
yeah, yeah. Now, like for my daughter, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I just definitely don't want her picking anybody. I mean, aligning with anybody who's gonna abuse her physically, mentally, or anything like that. Now, once you get that out of the way, I definitely don't want you. I think it says a lot about a guy's character, especially these days. You know what I'm saying? With it being such a big thing and a broad thing, a known thing now. It wasn't when we was kids or teens about credit, debt. That wasn't a big thing when we was kids. Now it's kind of, hey, we're 25 now, and Mark's in $140,000 worth of debt.
But see,
That does show a lot about his character. You see what I'm saying about what he's got going on. He had two wrecks and still got a Hellcat that he paid that he owed 60,000 on. You see what I'm saying?
but
And he
that's
had,
something
yeah.
different. You're talking, okay, we're
That's what
talking
I was.
about a person compared to a rich person who just don't have it yet. They're still building themselves. You're talking about a person who with a poverty mindset. No, I want my child with a poverty mindset. Men don't work when we can't eat.
I was talking about the 90 percentile.
It's
The
90% of
major
men out here that just ain't working, ain't doing nothing, and got a poverty mindset.
is that so unbelievable nowadays, man. That's crazy.
I think it's
Comment down
unbelievable.
below, like, subscribe. Comment down below. I want to know what are you? Am I just tripping?
I think there are more high value men than we see. We just, we're in a small town in the South, Alabama,
I'm not
so we
thinking
don't see a
about.
lot of them. But it's a lot of high value men when it comes to the way they think, their hustle, a lot of things. And just because a man has a hard season or a tough season doesn't mean that he lost his value. I think there are probably more than we think. Maybe it's not as high as I'm probably thinking, but I think it's more than we think. That men's out here with that poverty mindset. I mean, a lot of, are those even men? Those are boys.
First of all, when I'm speaking and talking, I'm never speaking and talking and or thinking locally. We're shooting right now from where we're shooting from because we don't think inside of a local box.
I know,
Okay,
but I'm
so
just
no, I just
saying.
want to get that out of the way. So first of all, yeah, I'm thinking the majority of guys just it might start out in debt, might with issues and things of that nature. I think that's a regular thing. Yeah, from the you know what I'm saying. You can go and look through certain stats which will indicate that this is true. But yeah, I think that does matter. You know what I'm saying? It shows a lot of character about who a person is. Now, moving forward, do you think what do you think about situationships, social media glorifying independence but hiding loneliness and the situationships and instead of the long-term situationships instead of marriage?
It's foolishness. You're gonna build with someone. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be in a situationship. Like that don't even sound enticing. Like I'm just gonna be dealing and sleeping with this person because it's beneficial. But hey, although I'm wearing my years of my youth and my, you know what I'm saying, my vibrant years, because we already said before, how I believe that a man can The older he gets, doesn't stop. You know what I'm saying? He can always go younger, and women can too, but they lose their value. We don't hear about the young tenderoni that married the old 70-year-old often. That's all I'm saying. So
Nah, he
I think
just
that's
bust a young
foolishness.
tenderoni down. He just bust a young tenderoni down. That's all.
I'm talking
No,
about the woman perspective. No, there's a lot of
vice
y'all.
versa.
Yeah, I'm talking about there's a lot of 7-year-old men that's gonna
Are you
marry
talking
the
about the
young
70-year-old
tenderoni.
women?
Yeah, you don't hear that
Nah,
often
nah, he just bust her down.
about that like he was
Yeah,
so in love, married
yeah,
her
nah, God
50,
no,
60, 70 years. You don't hear that. So now you're in this
God
situation.
no,
You just a
yeah,
waste of your time, years, youth, beauty, and for what? A situation. Yeah, that's cute.
yeah. I think situationships do take away from people's value, and so if let's say I'm a marriage material type of guy, and I like you, but I see you been in a 7, 8 year situationship, I'm probably gonna pass.
Because what does that say about
That
you
says a lot about you.
and your mindset and what you want out of life?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
No,
you
but
like
I
people
do.
settling.
I
So
do get that things happen. People go have different relationships and things of that nature like that. But just a long term situationship is weird. I ain't talking about just like a bust down situation. Like we together on some toxic, you know what I mean, never ending circle of, you know what I'm saying, negativity. I don't want to deal with it. So
I mean, even from a worldly perspective, I would want to be in something that's going to be that I'm progressing in, that I'm growing in, that I can see where it's making sense and it's making me a better person. Those type of situationships, though, I don't see how that is something that's doing something like that. That sounds like nonsense and foolishness to me and a waste of time.
yeah.
Like I feel like you need to get on out while you can. Why stay and waste time and all this other wasted, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that don't make sense. But that's from the worldly perspective. I'm an advocate. Like, hey, look, we need to take it back to the basics.
Now, what do you say to the person that has the, of course, we know it's a negative mindset, but marriage kills your freedom. Real love sets boundaries that create freedom. That's what I think. But what do you say to the person that says marriage kills freedom?
I mean, I don't even want to talk to the person who thinks like that because that means you're
They
not
want
even
to
a
be
believer.
outside.
Yeah, you with that. Go find it, whatever that
And you
is.
know my belief off the top, like, and
Yeah.
I'm with you, babe, so much, and I want to help people as well. But if the people have in their heart that they want a king and they don't want God over them, they rather have a king over them, because all the other nations got a king over them. Then that's what they got in their heart.
That's
Which what I'm
fine.
saying is all they want to be bust down.
But
They
I'm
don't.
saying
People
that
don't want
that's
marriage.
fine. I'm going to be an advocate for marriage. I am an advocate and trying to be a
Me
beacon of
too.
light for the kingdom of God. So if a person comes to me wanting advice saying, I don't want to be married, I want to live this high, like, okay, go do you. I have no advice for you. You're not a believer. You're not, go be a heathen. I don't know what else to tell you. You're not, I can't help you. I don't know what to give
If
you except, hey, protect yourself. Try not to get a disease and die with all your multiple partners and living that life.
so, if I'm a heathen, then that must mean that I'm a heathen living in a world of heathens.
I
Because
mean, that's the world we live in.
okay, so because I'm a single person, and then I do have fears, being with some or time to not being with somebody in a long term relationship, which is a marriage, and having that commitment. I do got fears that person might do this or that, or the third. You know what I mean? Like people are, people aren't courageous these days or
Well,
nothing like
then
that,
spend that
and just
time.
don't believe in it.
Then there's nothing wrong with that because I mean, if you that type of person and you letting fear rule your life, you need to be working on you so you're not a fearful person. You need to take time to get to know you, and if it's meant for you, it's gonna come your way. So whether you want to embrace or whether you didn't want a husband or not, love is love, and you can't help who you love. I'm just saying. So I don't. I still don't know. I mean, I don't really know how to talk about it. I mean, if we're gonna talk from a worldly perspective, I don't know. I guess do what everybody else is doing. I don't know. I don't know. Like if they're out here and then you want to be a part of that world that doesn't have goals and you're not a believer. You're into spirituality and want to open doors to all these different sex demons and this and that. Like I don't know what advice to give these people.
Yeah. How important is it working through hardships in marriage?
It's important.
Is that a major key to long term marriages? You think?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the whole goal. Marriage is work.
So
So
let me ask you this: Could if two people loved each other, could they separate and both had wilded out on each other? And they're not divorced, and could they come back together?
I don't know. I mean, that sounds foolishness to me. We're gonna separate and you go hoe and I go hoe and then we're gonna come back together. Yeah, I wouldn't even agree to
I
nothing
think
like
it's
that.
I
That
think
sounds
it's
like foolishness to me.
I think it's happened a lot in
Yeah.
within marriage.
It probably do, but I mean, I'm just talking about from my experience. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't agree to nothing like that. No, I'm gonna be done with you. I don't even want to work through you, thinking that you can go out and be like that, and then think you can come back and deal with me. I'm of too much more of value to deal with that. So I'm not
I,
gonna deal with that.
yeah,
I don't like nonsense and foolishness, and that sounds like foolishness too.
yeah, I was actually thinking about a famous couple when I was asking those questions, and I was thinking about because I heard about brother Offset filed for spousal support on sister Cardi B, and it seemed like brother Offset was upset because he seen the footage on the boat with brother Diggs, and they say brother Diggs is a bad man. Shout out to brother Diggs, and they say Offset was hurt, and I was just thinking, man, like I know he hurt, and I still think Cardi. I think at some point they were in love, and they chose to marry each other. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean no harm to nobody. I seen Cardi before.
I met her in
You know what I'm
person too.
saying? Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like she look a little different now. And I understand what you know what I'm saying. But I'm talking about before the 100 million. You know what I'm saying? Before the album and all that.
I met her
And
before she
so,
got her teeth done, and when she was locally and performing up there in Huntsville, still promoting and getting her music career off the ground. I mean, as far as looks, I always thought she was a beautiful
yeah, no,
person.
oh God, oh no, 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 no,
I
no.
don't know.
Cardi pretty in whatever era. You know what I'm saying? Cardi a pretty lady in whatever era of her life. You know what I'm saying? Whatever growth part of her life. I ain't talking about that. All I'm talking about is like it's different now. At some point, I feel like she was in love with her husband, brother Offset. And how do you feel? Do you think that could come back together? I was just asking. That's what I was kind
I'm
of.
always going to be an advocate for people working it out in their marriage. I do believe that Cardi was very in love with her husband, but I feel like Cardi was a woman that got fed up with her husband and his foolish and hoish behavior, which is, common. It's gonna some in some marriages with that type of stuff it happens. But that's why you also need a certain foundation that's built with you, your husband, and God. And if you go off that, then you can work through those situations. But I don't think they had that type of foundation, which leads to you out here hoeing, I'm out here hoeing. I'm sleeping while I'm pregnant with people, allegedly. And all this
I
extra
think Offset come from
nonsense.
church people. I think Offset come from church
That
people.
don't mean nothing.
I ain't said now. Second question. Now, if we're if it's two people in a marriage, and it's not going to work out, irreconcilable differences, whatever it is, should the person who doesn't generate the most bag, should they receive spousal support? Is that fair? So they can maintain their way of life that you have brought me up to. Do you see? If you married Michael Jackson and things didn't work out, should Mike pay you spousal support so you can at least maintain some level of dignity and some level of, you know what I'm saying? Because I said Mike, he brought you all the way up here. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but I'm not going to speak on that because I don't know. I don't know. I can't say somebody
I'm not talking about
should
anybody's situation. I'm
No,
saying
I'm
in
saying
general.
period. I can't say that you should be paid spousal support just because you want to keep a lifestyle without me that you had with me. Whether it can, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, whether it's a woman or man, I cannot say that you should be able to keep a lifestyle. Me and you had a lifestyle together, but now I'm leaving for whatever reasons there may be. You know what I'm saying? I should be able
What
to
if what
hold
if
this lifestyle. No, I can't. I'm not gonna
what if,
speak on
what if
that.
you cheated on me, Janard?
I'm not speaking on you should hold a lifestyle that we had together
What if
still.
you went and cheated on me and you said better for worse and you broke our vows? And that's why they do spousal support, because they saying that you broke vows towards God. You broke the
If
vows.
God tell me to give somebody spousal support,
The
then I
court
will.
will.
I'm not talking about the
The
court.
court
I
will.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not speaking on things I don't know of. But to me, that I don't think that people. I don't know. I don't know about. I'm not speaking on spousal support.
All right, so let's try to go lead this rabbit hole. But one more question: your son or your daughter? Would you want your son or your daughter to have to pay spousal support to keep somebody?
I'm not gonna speak on it because I can't say that I want my son, whether it's him that needs the spousal support, should be able to keep the lifestyle he had because he's choosing to leave somebody or they're not with. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. I don't know, or nor am I going to say that he should pay somebody spousal support to keep a lifestyle. To me, it just depends on each situation. It's going to depend on what the reasons is, and it's got too many variables for me to speak on that. I can't. I'm not. No, no.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I couldn't help but go down that rabbit hole. You know, it was fun.
So you saying that you think it is fair, regardless of the reasons of who is right and wrong, that a court should order somebody to pay somebody money to keep up with a lifestyle that they had with the person, although they're no longer going to be with that person, regardless the reasons why they're separating or whatever.
No, and that's why I asked the question. I'm definitely not advocating for anybody to pay spousal support. And like you said, each case is a case by case basis and a specific. You know what I'm saying? It's situational. You know what I'm saying? If I'm ruling as a judge or anything like that, I would need to hear everything that's going on. But no, I don't think it's a male or female's job to basically take care of somebody just because I married or when you married me, I was rich. No,
Or if you weren't rich, if when we got married, we
especially if
had.
I was rich.
And I think Offset's been spiteful.
I
And I
do,
don't think you should do things out of spite. I think he's been spiteful.
I do too, but I think it's smooth.
And it's greed. Offset is not hurting for no money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't think it's greed.
So
I
you
think
want
it's
more money.
no,
It's
it's
part of
most. I
greed.
think it's more spitefulness than greed.
It's probably definitely more spiteful, but it's definitely a greed spirit behind it.
No, I think it's hurt, spitefulness and hurtfulness. You know, all the beautiful bunnies in the world, all the best snow trip he can take ain't gonna fix this hurt. You know what I'm saying? This your wife, culture, mom. You see what I'm saying? So there's,
See, I can't
yeah,
have. Like I said, that's just
that's
foolishness.
heavy.
Because
Yeah,
then he go sleep with a prostitute or something.
yeah, he want to bust
So
down a
you
little
weren't,
prostitute.
you weren't, you
But they
didn't feel
said but
bad.
they said unbeknownst to us at that time that Carter was texting back and forth with Diggs. They said it was
Was
taking her.
she?
They said it was taking her 2 and 3 days to make it to some spot. You know what I'm saying? Places instead when it was supposed to, you know what I'm saying? When she normally would have been there on time. Offset, wait, you know what I'm saying? Texting, calling his wife. She ain't picking up for a day or so. They said there was a lot of things going on.
I think they can say a
Yeah,
lot and it sounds like
yeah,
a bunch of
yeah.
foolishness and
They was just
nonsense.
saying.
At the end of the day, there's no excuse to go sleep with prostitutes and then want me to feel bad because now you said that I'd have moved
No, I
on.
was not trying. I was not trying to say why did make a cop out for him sleeping with the
It sounds like it.
with the prostitute.
I'm saying, but he didn't just he did a lot of stuff
He
more
was
than
yeah,
one time.
I heard about
And we didn't hear about it until
the
she was like,
scrippers, the scrippers.
we didn't hear about her situation until she was like, you know what, I'm done with him, and she went live. She went live a few times in her feelings about them.
She should have got the paperwork done and then so everybody could still be like she the queen.
People saying she's not the queen.
How can you be a queen and you
I thought she didn't. The deal, the paperwork was done when she done that. Then she
they
get paper.
divorced?
Then she filed paperwork for divorce while she was pregnant. When that rumor came out, that
Is
papers
they
was
divorced?
already. They're not divorced.
I don't know. They might be divorced.
I'm saying I don't know.
If they divorced, then why spousal support?
I
Don't you
don't know.
ask for that in the divorce?
I don't know, but I do know I read that she had already filed for divorce while she was pregnant. When I heard about her dealing with anybody else, she had already filed papers about her for a divorce.
Yeah.
Now, if they divorce or not, or however the case may be, again, that's a lot of foolishness.
Okay. Now, so to get back to try to end the pod, how do you feel about is there anything that you want to get across that you weren't able to get across during our conversation? Or why it's important to even in your marriage to maintain your marriage, to try to keep your marriage healthy as possible, and why it is important to you, why marriage is important, period.
I just think if you're going to get married, you should know what marriage stands for, especially if you're a believer of Christ. And you should try to live and mimic what he says it to be. And I mean, if you do that, you can't go wrong, even with the mess ups. I don't think, and we kind of talked about it earlier. If you're trying to follow what a wife look like and what the word tells you, then you're gonna move wise. You're gonna do things that help build and strengthen. You're gonna be that help me. And going to social media, venting about your relationship, belittling your man, nagging, all that, all the little stuff that comes with these marriages that don't have the foundation of God in it. I mean, that's what's going to happen. So moving forward, I would love for people to get back to letting God be the foundation of what marriage is. And God is not in every marriage these days with what they're saying that could be a marriage going forward.
That's a whole different pod, and we're definitely going to have that one. God not being in all marriages. And thank you, and that's major.
That's major.